You know guys, before I start today's video, I just want to apologize if my voice sounds a little bit different. Unfortunately, the ScatMaestro is a bit under the weather again, but honestly that's okay because the ScatMaestro is not needed in today's video. Instead, what we got is the ScatMaestro, because as you'll see in today's video, there are some things to be taught to the Battlefield community or to anybody else that perceives what we have today as bad news for Battlefield 6, because this piece of news for Battlefield 6 isn't really bad news. In my opinion, it's kind of being blown out of proportion. However, we will have to mention that one abbreviation that everybody is fucking traumatized over, SBMM, and we're gonna get into that right now. But before we do, slap the fucking dog shit out of the like button right now, help the ScatMaestro get over his sinuses, and subscribe if you're new. You guys know what to do down in the comments below. Hashtag Fooly50. We're getting closer and closer to 50k, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and hit that shit real quick. Also, I'm gonna be streaming Battlefield 6 on Thursday, August 7th, and as a result, I highly encourage you guys to join the Discord, which is going to be linked in my bio as well as the description in today's video. But guys, let's get right into it. So this is a tweet that comes out from Charlie Intel. He says, EA says Battlefield 6 matchmaking will focus on ping, player's location, server availability, and some skill factor. The matchmaking factors will vary based on each game mode and player counts. No! Please, no! So immediately, when everybody saw the words skill factor, unfortunately here for us in the Call of Duty community, we've been traumatized and conditioned to just assume the worst whenever you see the word skill when it comes to matchmaking. And that's pretty evident by just all of these massive news sources coming out with these tweets like, Battlefield 6 will have skill-based matchmaking, but it will be different per game mode. Or this one by Dexerto, Battlefield 6 will have skill-based matchmaking and no server browser outside of Portal. Players who want to queue for normal game modes will be subject to SBMM. And look, trust me, if this were actually the case in the way that we know it to be in Call of Duty, trust me, I'd be right here with you guys being like, yo, fuck Battlefield 6, fuck EA DICE, and fuck skill-based matchmaking. But the reality is, Battlefield 6 will not have skill-based matchmaking, or at least not in the way that we're accustomed to here in the modern Call of Duty era that is so unbelievably fucking dog shit that it has everybody thinking that if your matchmaking involves anything about your skill, that your games will be rigged the way that they are in Call of Duty, because that's the way that Activision has set up their patent and their matchmaking. You know, they want the shitters to have an equal opportunity to win games, even if it means nerfing the good player's ping or, as we've seen before, the potential of skill-based damage. However, that's not the case with Battlefield 6 and matchmaking involving skill. As a matter of fact, the only reason your skill is playing a factor in any sort of matchmaking literally just has to do with team balancing. And that's it. Nigga, run it back. Team balancing. And that's it. This is a tweet that comes out from the Tactical Brit. SBMM in Battlefield shouldn't be conflated with SBMM in Warzone and COD or the wider FPS space. It's literally just team balancing. And actually, what I've heard through the grapevine is that the main factors of your matchmaking are literally just ping, your location, and which server you happen to be around. Which, to be completely honest, that's not too bad. Now, listen, in a perfect world, I wouldn't even consider skill even for team balancing, okay? That's just me, that's my opinion. A lot of people are gonna disagree, and that's okay. But what you guys need to understand is that this version of quote-unquote SBMM, which I don't even think it's SBMM, but this form of team balancing that takes your skill into consideration, it existed in previous iterations of Battlefield, so it existed in 2042, and if you played that game and you didn't have a problem with the matchmaking, it's essentially gonna be the exact same thing for Battlefield 6. Also, for the COD fans, the SBMM that has quote-unquote existed since COD 4 up until essentially Black Ops 4, that version of SBMM is essentially what Battlefield 6 is describing. Now, from 2019 to the present day, that's different, okay? That's where skill is actually prioritized heavily, and it does influence your game, your outcomes, and whatever progress you feel like you're earning in the game. However, in Battlefield 6, that doesn't appear to be the case. Now, if I end up being wrong, or if EA DICE ends up changing their minds about this and they make it align with what Call of Duty in the modern era has done with skill-based matchmaking, then of course you're gonna get a video out of the ScatMaestro or the ScatMaestro, and you're gonna hear me tear EA DICE limb from limb over skill-based matchmaking, because I do not believe in rigging your gaming experiences for the outcome of everybody having a near 1.0 win-loss or KD, no matter what your skill is.
Hey bro, come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
That should not be happening in any video game. We understand why Call of Duty does it, and it's for money. It's because the shitters get to experience more skins and more microtransactions, and the better they do, or at least the more their games are rigged to give them the illusion that they're good at the game, they'll end up buying more bundles. Now, as we've already heard in Battlefield 6, this isn't a main priority. They don't want Nicki Minaj in the fucking game, no matter how many fucking iterations and remixes of a WAP she comes out with. Battlefield 6 has already made it super obvious that that's not the route they want to go down. So when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, and taking into consideration skill as a main proponent or main factor, it's personally not something that I'm too worried about, but I've heard other people's thoughts on this, and these are some of the responses that I got after sharing this post with you guys. This guy Buddy says, as long as ping is king, we good. And honestly, I agree, and by the sounds of it, I think it's closer to ping is king more than skill is king when it comes to Battlefield 6 and the matchmaking. This guy Sidewalk also responds and says, the SBMM skill factor they used is for team balancing. The DICE team already confirmed that the matchmaking skill factors used is to determine players' skill level for team balancing purposes. Once again, I completely agree, but then there is the other side, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm gonna end off my video with, is why is this blowing up in the Call of Duty community that Battlefield 6 will have skill-based matchmaking, and why is this typically coming out of the Call of Duty gooch slickers? You know, it's the COD fans that will criticize content creators for criticizing Call of Duty, and then they'll come out here and be like, oh, you just hate on Call of Duty for views.
Oh no, we've become so smart, they're stupid to us!
Which implies that they want me to not be critical of Call of Duty. Therefore, if I start showing love to another game like Battlefield 6, well, of course, that's a problem for them, because they want me to praise Call of Duty and literally no other game on the market. Which strikes me as odd, because if I'm not mistaken, the Call of Duty fanboys like skill-based matchmaking. They want it in Call of Duty. They think when Activision came out and said, oh yeah, skill-based matchmaking is actually good for the health of Call of Duty, you'd think they'd look at a game like Battlefield 6 that is also rumored to have skill-based matchmaking and then be like, oh well, if it's good in Call of Duty, then it's good in Battlefield 6. But no, that's not what's happening. What's happening is SBMM is good in Call of Duty, but it's not good in Battlefield 6. Does it make sense to you guys? Cause to me, it really fucking doesn't, no. But then again, nothing really seems to make sense in the Call of Duty community. I mean, you get shit like this. There's nothing going on of substance in Call of Duty right now that people are tweeting bullshit like this. This comes out from this Gooch Slicker Warzone Alerts. He says, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 winner circle in real life. Yeah, that's what Call of Duty has going for it right now. What's funny is that even the COD fanboys don't even like this fucking post. You mean MW3? Cause none of them are Black Ops 6 ops. Moron. Ladies and gentlemen, personally, I feel like the Call of Duty fans are blowing this way out of proportion when it comes to skill-based matchmaking in Battlefield 6, because they want to give Battlefield 6 some type of negative. And unfortunately for them, the positivity heavily overweighs the negativity in Battlefield 6. And we talked about this in my last video. One of the biggest negatives that I came up with for Battlefield 6 was their version of Black Cell.
Now you trying to be my friend, talking about good game. Fuck you, nigga.
And I've already made it clear. Fuck that shit. I literally fucking dislike it. I don't support it. I don't condone it. I will never recommend you guys purchase it. I'll never showcase it or promote it or advertise it, because I'm not Dyke fucking Dynamite. I'm not into that shit. I like to think that the ScatMaestro is pretty honest when it comes to my takes on video games in general. It doesn't even need to be Call of Duty. Skill-based matchmaking does not need to exist in gaming, in my opinion. Maybe to a very light extent, if it's like your first time ever fucking playing, or if you have a disability that puts you at a severe disadvantage. Of course, I understand those circumstances, but in the casual playlist, I don't think it belongs. That's the type of shit for ranked play and not casual play, and as it stands, that doesn't appear to be what is in Battlefield 6. Instead, it's mainly taking your skill into consideration when it comes to team balancing and not actually making the match. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of content creators and other people that disagree with me, and trust me, I understand why they're doing it, okay? I've been in the game long enough, I get it. People like 8 Thoughts, they'll complain that skill-based matchmaking is necessary for Call of Duty to be successful, but then they'll turn around and say that Battlefield 6 is done and dead and over because the same shit is in there, as if that makes any fucking sense. I mean, the guy has dementia, and it's okay, because that's my guy. I send him pictures of shit in the toilet, in the DMs on Twitter. I swear to God, I do. But to end this video off, there is one final thing I'd like to share with you guys, and this is another response from a guy named Daniel, and he says, no, it's not blown out of proportion, bro. You can't give these publishers an inch because they'll make a mile out of it. And honestly, I agree with him. I don't really want us to normalize the fact that SBMM in a certain way exists in Battlefield 6, and I don't think we should be saying it's a good thing either, because that's the type of shit that made Activision go off the fucking rail and just give us Nicki Minaj and the boys and all this other cringy bullshit while expressing all of this crazy ass skill-based matchmaking in the game. I'm good off all that. EA, my only message to them is that they not double down on this and they not make it worse. Please do not extend on your idea of matchmaking based off of anything skill related. It should 100% be based on your ping and nothing else. Now, are these guys gonna listen to me? Who the fuck knows? All I know is that the people at Activision for sure do not give a flying fuck about what I gotta say unless I'm gooch licking the fuck out of them from the goddamn back. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. What are your thoughts on SBMM in Battlefield 6? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.
This ain't in my body.